Okay, let's have a little look at how we might set a canvas up in Sketchbook. And I guess from our perspective, we're looking for some quite specific things. So first things first, I'm going to imagine let's assume I've done some kind of scribbling and scrawling on here, and I'm finished with what I've got in front of me, and I want to make a new canvas, and I want it to be a location I can teach from. All right, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to New. Perhaps I don't want to save this, something I'm not going to use again, so I'm not going to save this. And for me, I come into this environment. Now I've got this set up as kind of like my default environment. Okay, so a couple of things I'd encourage you to do. When you have got to this stage, I encourage you to click on Image and go to Canvas Size. Now, you see, for me, I have got my canvas set up to being really wide, 6,000 pixels, and really tall, 16,000 pixels, which is an absolutely enormous canvas. If that was a piece of paper or indeed a canvas, it would be gigantic. So I'm happy with that, but it could be that you decide you want that to be 3,000, and in terms of width, and I don't know, you want this to be 8,000 in terms of height, for argument's sake. Okay, and you can do that. Now, this is not at full size. You see here, it's only 9.7%. What I've done here is I've right-clicked, or on Mac double-clicked on the canvas, and I'm going to go up to this one, which is actual size. Okay, actual size, and now you can see I have this canvas here. I can drag it around. I can drag down to the. So if I make some kind of mark on this, you can see I can drag it down. I can drag it to the side. I can move it around in whatever way I want, basically. Okay, so I can move it around in that way. All right, so I'm going to just get rid of my little squiggle. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to fill this entire canvas and make it black. So I'm going to go for this option here. If you don't know where you get this from, let me just minimize this. If you don't know where you get that toolbar from, go to Window, go to Toolbar, and then this will appear as a default for you. So I'm going to choose the Flood Fill, which is this one here. And I'm going to choose black as my color. Don't forget, if I was on here, for example, I could manually choose black by dragging down there, but I'm just going to choose it here. And then all I have to do is a single click, and it will turn that entire that canvas to black. Okay, so I've now got a canvas which, if I had my tablet connected to it, I could start making some kind of teaching episode on here, and my colors are going to come out on that nice and neatly. Okay, so I've got the canvas the size I want it. I've got my scroll bars enabled, so it allows me to manipulate it. I've got the black background in place, and I've got my canvas set up and ready to go, so that when I want to start including some text, some images, some teaching, when I want to start recording the screen, I'm basically ready to go. Oh, one thing I would say to you, the reason we tend to have a taller than wide canvas is that it's very predictable for us that we would have something like all of our content for teaching episode number 1 would go in this space, and then a little bit further down, maybe we'd go a little bit further with that, we'd have maybe a second heading, and here's our teaching area number 2 kind of in here. And what it means is, as we're teaching in this space, we can go back and reference what was before. Okay, so we quite like having that capacity to do that. If you have one single static canvas with only what's available on the screen, you can't ever make reference. So imagine I was doing a 3-lesson series. Here's my lesson on how to make a squiggly yellow line. I stop recording. Here's my lesson on how to make a squiggly green line. I stop recording, and then I start to make a tutorial on how to make a squiggly pink line, and maybe I want a reference to what I did before when I'm teaching about the pink one. It's a terrible example, but nevertheless you get the point. So that's how we'd like you to think about setting up your canvas. Just to be clear, new. I'm not going to save that. Canvas size, I'm going to go for 6,000 and 16,000. Fill, and there we go. Okay, so now we can go whole screen, and now I have this enormous canvas that I can scroll up and down and use for a series of episodes of teaching.